and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147. I started this section yesterday and started doing a WIP chat, but then I got pulled away from filming and didn't get to finish it off. So I don't know what I've said and what I haven't said, so I just thought I've only placed a couple of diamonds. Let's just restart. So I hope everybody is well. I'm working on my Heaven and Earth Design Little Dreamers tree, Max Colours. And you may notice that there is a second line here. I actually miscounted in the line above. Now, I did realise after I'd placed far too many diamonds for my liking, but I managed to fix that and work with the very awkward extra lines. So I have managed to complete a full row and a bit more in the last week. I actually had a couple of days, where I didn't get any done. But I did have also a couple of days where I managed to get 2 or even 3 sections done on certain days. So I feel like I'm a little bit ahead for the 5-day week, but not as ahead as I'd like to be. We'll see how the next week or so goes, but it's definitely getting there. I'm not quite up to 900. I'm on the 880 row. And of course I'm a couple in, but it's getting there. It's definitely getting there. Right, let's see, will that one mark up? It will. Okay. Every now and then when it highlights a symbol, it takes the symbol away, and sometimes by sort of closing down the app and reopening it, it'll sort itself out. But let's see how much of a problem it does or doesn't become. But yeah, I hope everybody is having a great week and getting things done that they want to get done. But we're getting to sort of a dark section, quite a bit of tree trunk at the moment. So we'll see how it goes. Right, let me figure out the next colour and then go through some questions. So I am moving on to the questions now that are on the Heaven and Earth Design videos. I have finished all of the June Waffle questions on my longer Sunday WIP and Waffles. So today I'm on to questions that have been left on my Heaven and Earth Design, and that's what I'll continue through with now until, of course, we get to December and everything changes all over again. Okay, that's kind of getting annoying. Let me just close down the app and open it up again. I sometimes find that this stops. There we go. So that's stopped it doing that for now. Nothing like a reboot. Cat Lady, she says, are you going to be taking a break from Heaven and Earth Design with Pattern Keeper once you get this one finished? She said she's decided she needs to get some round paintings out of the way, but after using double-sided tape, she said it is taking time to get used to it. She says she doesn't think she has any more double-sided tape glue canvases, so she does need to get used to it fast. She says her squares were so much neater on double-sided glue and on the 10x10 squares. Oh. See, I find after working on so many canvases, all my big ones that are poured glue, that I don't know, double-sided tape is kind of driving me a little bit up the wall. That also reminds me, I will answer your question, but I do have a query over my other Heaven and Earth design. So I'm doing a Heaven and Earth design mini that is a black and white design, using my black and white diamonds, and I am part way through it. But what I have noticed is that with, let me see if I can get it, it's here. See if you can see what I mean. So here, this is all I've done of it, so just this top row. But what I've realised, especially here with the birds, is obviously the first 5200 that I've picked up has been a little bit more than a 3/8, more like a 3865. So I have this line across these birds that is not as white. So of course this bottom section is the true 5200, so it's whiter. I haven't done a huge amount of it, though I have done, of course, a fair amount of it. So really there is 4 different options for it, but 2 of them I really don't like. So the 2 options that I really don't like are, one, I take off all the 5200 diamonds that I've done that are that darker colour and replace them with the lighter colour. Anybody who's had to take diamonds off a canvas before knows that that is a tedious thing to do. My second option is to remove some of the lighter, the sort of creamy looking 5200s, and try and do sort of a fix where it's a mixture of the 2. Again, I don't like that idea either because of the removing of diamonds. So the other 2 options I swing to more, but please let me know your thoughts down below so I can figure out, help me decide which one to do. So one of the other options is to just ignore it and carry on as you were, should they say, and just keep going and realise that there is going to be that sort of faint line of a creamy colour to a white colour. Or the other option is to completely scrap what I've done so far, get another canvas, potentially a poured glue canvas maybe. I probably would if I was going to redo it. Get another canvas and just start again. So let me know your thoughts down below on which you think is the best option to do, to sort of going forward before I start ploughing into that one. To answer Cat Lady's question in relation to are you taking a break, the primary answer is yes, but there's a little bit of no mixed in with that because I can't answer anything straight. So when I've got a couple of options that I may do again when I've finished this one. So once I finish this one, my WIP and Chat videos for my Heaven and Earth design will turn into my sorting out my spares and de-kitting this Heaven and Earth design. So it'll still be Heaven and Earth design base, but I'm tying the 2 sort of jobs together, de-kitting this, spring cleaning my spares while I'm at it, because there's just so many colours to de-kit. So I could fully just take a break completely then from my Heaven and Earth design, and then once I've finished sorting out my spares and de-kitting this one, I can then move over to that black and white one and get that one finished. If the consensus is that I get a replacement canvas, what I may do is, you know, start doing a section a day still and try and get through that initial part that I'm redoing in the background. So still try and do a section a day where possible, but just be going over basically old ground. And then once this one is de-kitted and my spares are all sorted, I would then move my WIP and Chat to that canvas to get that finished. Or I may decide to do a little bit of that other canvas, but not as religiously. I'm not quite sure. If I'm just going to leave that canvas as it is and not do anything to it, then I probably would take a break and basically get this one finished, boxed off completely, de-kitted, all the rest of it before I thought about doing any more. Which is why it's a yes or no answer. Because if I'm going to get a replacement canvas and restart it, which is sort of why I'm asking you guys now, so that I can, if need be, get a canvas ordered and get one ready for it, then when this one's finished, I might move straight onto the other one just to try and get back to the same position that I was in. So yeah, let me know your thoughts, because it'd be very interesting to know what you guys think or what you guys would do in relation to that. I have ignored it for a little bit, but I feel like it's gonna need a decision to be made, and sooner rather than later for that decision. So you guys can help me make that decision. Nancy, she says, oh my goodness, she says she hardly believes that she will be doing 3 Heaven and Earth designs starting in January. My glue dot's rather sticky. She says she's excited. She says she has a question. She said, where did I get the sheet that shows how many squares to do that you scratch out after you've completed your section? So let me just place these 2 and I'll show you what sheet she's talking about. And it is definitely not as complicated as you'd think in any which way. So this is the sheet. This is only half of my big Heaven and Earth design project. Before I started trying to do a section a day and completing it in 2023, I'd already done the first half. So this is the second half, and each box is a section that I do. So it's actually 6 squares. I only colour in 1 for 6 squares. And this is basically a table in Word. That's all it is. It's just, I added a table in Word, told it I needed 5 sections going across because that's a complete row to me, and how many sections I needed going down. Now, this bottom section actually only has a row of 9 here, just because of the way the pattern ends. I've not counted that. It's still classed as a section to me. So the worst part is probably working out what your sections would be, which I say I'd already started. So knowing it takes me 5 sections to complete a row was easy. So I knew I needed 5 across. And then to go down, I knew that I used, in effect, 20 stitches down. So you just count how many boxes there is down, and then I told it how many it needed to go down, and then I marked these 600, 700, 800s, etc. So you can see between 600 and 700 there's only 5 boxes because I do 20. I do 20 per one. So yeah, it's basically just a very, very simple table in Word where you tell it how many boxes across and how many boxes down, and that's it. Right, I am going to fill up my blacks while I'm here, because I have been popping this Heaven and Earth design on the dining table to try and get me to do some more, but literally all I do is just scoop. I just do a scoop, throw in black diamonds, stick the top on, and there we go, that's refilled. Let's do that while they were getting low. So yeah, just a table in Word, quite simply, this many rows by this many rows. Okay, B Massam says they've got a Heaven and Earth design in their stash for cross stitch. It's called The Possibilities Evolution Rainbow by Michelle Sayeta. Said they've got no materials for it yet, but it will be completed at some point. I like your viewpoint. It'll get done eventually. So maybe they'll have enough diamonds by that time to do it again as a diamond painting, by the time they get all the cross stitch supplies ready. Said thanks for the company before they had to start cooking tea. You're welcome. Glad I could keep you company for a little bit, or maybe help you put off that daily job that is definitely a chore, in my opinion. It definitely depends on whether you like cooking or not, but I don't. I am not a fan of it at all. I go for quick and easy and get the job done. If it ever falls on me, luckily Megan quite likes cooking most days, so yeah, it's her job in our house, which works absolutely perfectly for me. Diamond Sparkle Chase, she says hi all. She says she is at 53% on her Little Dreamers tree. She said she is loving working on it. She said she stopped working on it at one point to work on a Diamond Art Club I'm Not a Craft Hoarder. I think I've seen that one quite a bit. That's a fun one. She said it's the name of it that had very snug diamonds in it. She says she loves it. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to find a diamond and read. She says, you all have a great day, and she's looking forward to my next video. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've seen that Diamond Art Club one about being a craft hoarder. That's definitely a fun diamond painting. It did make me, I have too many in my stash at the moment. I am trying my utmost bestest to avoid buying anything more at the moment. I feel like I have enough. In fact, I'm actually going to try and whittle down my stash a little bit and start putting stuff aside for big giveaways in December. Grey Legrand, she says since she has finally started working on her Diamond Art Club kits, she says, which are mostly squares, she said she is slowly going to start to build up that leftover stash for future Heaven and Earth design projects. Awesome. They do take a fair amount of diamonds. It took a full-on team to get enough spare diamonds for me to finish this Little Dreamers tree. People were absolutely amazing at sending me spare diamonds so that I could get this finished. So yeah, it does take quite a chunk to do it. I think if I was going to do the likes of a little dreamer's tree, for example, again, knowing what I know, sort of starting from the off, while I know people would be more than happy to send diamonds to help, I recognise that not everybody, has that option. But the diamonds that are like quite a few thousand that are needed, I would probably purchase those diamonds and then try and get in the spares the ones that just aren't needed much. Like, it's not worth buying 200 or 1,000 diamonds for the ones that you only need 10 in the whole picture. Like, it's not worth spending the money on those low amounts. And those low amounts are also things that's easier for people to help with, and easier for you to be able to, you know, just get a few sent here and there. It doesn't cost as much in postage because it's only a small amount. So yeah, I think I'd do it that way. I'd go for the big ones, the big numbers, I'd get in the diamonds, and then the others I'd try and get with spares to just take the sting of the cost away as much as possible. So we've obviously got some other sort of light object down here at the bottom. All the symbols are speaking something lighter, and all the rest are primarily speaking tree. Tree trunk of some sort. Where's my little chart? See, I'm actually down here is where I am. So this is that sort of dark section. This light bit that I'm doing looks to be some sort of angel or fairy here. And then the rest of it and all this sort of pink stuff is that the way the light's shining off that branch. So we're getting to a little bit different and interesting stuff in this one, which is awesome. Makes it fun. Maybe we'll have some more zero colours, who knows. Cher loves orange. She says, on the subject of names, she said her mum named the three of them with the same initials. So it is Clay Bradley, Carol Beverly, and Cheryl Barbara. She said she called my brother and sister by their middle names, but when she was born, when Cheryl was born, she said her mum just didn't see her as a Barbara. The cool part was, she says, was that her granddad always called her Barbara, and it was super special to her. She said, makes me tear up with happy tears, she says, just remembering that. It is nice when you get sort of a nickname from one special person in your life. She also says for her it's showing as her YouTube name has reverted back to Cher for him. No, it's showing for me as Cher loves orange, though I do know from Jackie changing her name on YouTube, when I get an email notification of a comment, it shows as Jackie, but when I read it, when I see it in my comment section, it shows up as, what is it, Blossom Chops. That's it. I was trying to remember what her name was then. What her name was on YouTube now. So yeah, I think there's just different parts of YouTube show it up as different things, but it's definitely showing for me as Cher Loves Orange, if that helps you. Might be showing us something different for you. Okay. Lady Dax, she says, it's nice to see me working on this one again. Yes, it's nice to get some progress on this Heaven and Earth design. I feel like it completely got ignored in June, which I get why. It was just, frankly, too busy to be dealing with it. Right, will you stick? This glue dot is, I don't know whether it's because I've had that little strip uncovered for a bit longer because of doing the section wrong. So of course it's been uncovered rather than being primarily covered up at the bottom, or whether it's just my glue dot, but it keeps doing it in that one place, testing me. She says, Lady Dax says she has been a bit busy today. She's done 3 gnome key rings, 4 fridge magnet hearts, and 3 of the corner bookmarks. She says all for friends and family, for friends and family Christmas Advent. She says once these are added, it will only leave her 7 items to find for each box, and then she'll start on 1 for pea jelly. She says it's been hard work, so she can only imagine what me and Megan have had to do to put together hundreds for all us lot. She says you are sure our heroes. It's definitely been work, but at the same point a lot of it has been really enjoyable because it's not been pressured work to a certain extent. So we actually started getting items in and getting items prepared for Advent in January. So while there was stuff that I needed to sort out, it wasn't like this has to be sorted out in 2 days type sorting out. I probably put more pressure on myself than I needed to. There is a couple more items that we are waiting to come in / do need a bit of prep, but we're going to prep those as we pack them. So I'm hoping, you know, to sort of figure out a system where we can have an, you know, X amount that we need to pack per day to make sure that we get through the hundreds that we need to do, because it is in the hundreds. So yeah, we'll see what it ends up like, but it's all fun. We'll get a little system set up, probably using the kitchen sides, because, you know, nice big clear kitchen sides, and start bringing down the items in batches of probably 20. I'm thinking batches of 20 of each item, get them bagged up, sorted out, boxed up, and then bring down another 20, because it's amazing how much 24 times then 20 items will just take up so much more space than you think, and probably even more space than I think. So it might end up going back down to doing 10 at a time. We shall see. But yeah, we've got a few hundred to do, but we have set aside. Megan breaks up from school next week, so the week after will be the start of Advent packing and all the fun that entails. Say we are waiting on the last couple of bits, but that won't stop us from maybe prepping some of the other things ready to make it a little bit easier when the last bits come in. But yeah, it's different, but it's going to be fun different. All Things Crafty by Kaz says this is inspiring her to get on with her Stitches to Stones customs. She says she does have 5 to complete. Oh my goodness me, yes, if you want to complete all 5, you need to start. That's for sure. I'm bad enough with the fact that I have, in effect, 3 Heaven and Earth designs, albeit one being straight on a blank canvas, but I still have 3 to do, which is another reason I've sort of set myself the goal of finishing this in 2023, and hopefully my second one will be quicker. It should be. It's less colours. The sections are just as big, but there's less colours, so I can get more down without tipping in and out of pots. Right, flip through. Where's my next ones? I'm kind of hoping that a lot of this is blocky, though every now and then it just throws in one random diamond, and that's what ends up making it take longer and longer, is those one diamonds. Colleen says she has finally finished her Heaven and Earth Design Mini, and she says it has turned out great. Awesome, well done you. That is an achievement. Finishing any Heaven and Earth design is an achievement. It is not sort of the easiest task to do. It's nice, it's a different challenge. But yeah, I definitely went very, very big with my first challenge and sort of burnt out, I think, a little bit at the beginning, and then got a bit discouraged as to how quick I was getting through anything. But now it's definitely nearing the end. It definitely feels a lot better, and I'm getting that sort of spurt to want to get it finished. Now I'm getting closer. I reckon it'll be even more so when I get down to the 900s, which I'm nearly at. Nearly at the 900s. Get this next 2 rows finished, and then I get into the 900s. So we'll see how much I can get done between now and next week. It is launch this weekend, so that definitely does slow me down. So there'll be quite a bit of prep work tomorrow before launch, and then Monday tends to be, I try and pack a lot of the orders over the weekend because I don't like to hold on to them. I like them to be able to go out as soon as possible, which is why we do it on a Friday night, so that I can get orders packed over the weekend and get them out on a Monday as quick as possible. But then there is always still orders coming through that need packing, and sort of the mop-up orders, should we say. Oh, I shouldn't have put that one there. The mop-up orders will still need doing on Monday and potentially Tuesday. It sometimes flips into Tuesday as well. So we'll have to see how much I can actually get squeezed in. Maybe I'll just make a goal of finishing this row. Maybe I should just set myself a mini goal. It's only 3 sections, which should be doable. Oh, depends on when I get to film this video, I suppose, as to how doable it will be. But I can definitely try my best to get the 3 done. There's quite a lot of this one. I wonder if by the time I hit tick done, I definitely reckon this is going to take me over halfway with the diamonds. I like to check my little stitch counts because it's 600 diamonds that I place per time. So that's gone from 276 to 328. So 2 cases out of my 4 are done, and I'm more than halfway through. So that's good. Let me grab my next one. And some of these do have diamonds that are completely done, but that's okay because, as I say, I've taken the decision to pack them all away all at once, which will be epic. I'm wondering how many weeks it will take me to do it. I'm still only doing 1 a week, and it will just replace the WIP and Chats, and we'll just still chat, but we'll sort out spare storage, de-kit and chat all at the same time. So yeah, I wonder how many weeks it will take me to get through, bearing in mind I'm doing both. I'm not just de-kitting, I'm also sorting my spares out as I go. Might need to make myself a little checklist of the things I want to do. It's all whether I'll get one box done each time or whether it's going to be half a box or a third of a box. We shall see. Magic Moonchild, she says her name is Jess and her middle name starts with a C and her last name starts with a B. She says so her initials are JCB. Love it. That is something my mum did tell me she thought about before naming each of us, was what our initials would be. So my initials when I was a child was RSL, and they're now RSW. But of course, my mum didn't have any control over those initials, but she did over when I was younger. So yeah, she just wanted to make sure that they didn't spell anything that would cause us a problem. Janita, she says, yesterday here in Canada, she said it was like stepping into an oven. She said 30 degrees or more and no breeze whatsoever. And that's the worst part, isn't it? I mean, the heat can be bad enough, but the no breeze, it's like, what do you want me to do? Just pretend I'm sitting in the sauna? And I don't enjoy sitting in saunas. It's not the thing for me. So yeah, it's stuffy warm here today. It's only 20 degrees, I think, is today's temperature, which is a lot more reasonable, but there is hardly any wind, if any at all. So it's just very stuffy. And in here, as I'm filming this, I'm finding I'm getting warm because there's been no airflow. So it's just becoming a little sweat box in here. I'm working in a sweatshop, that's what I'm doing. It is warm. But yeah, otherwise, generally, when I'm outside, it's not bad because the temperature's not too high. It's just, let's say, stuffy. Oh, no, I didn't want to do that now, did I? That'll teach me to be looking at the next question. Try and brush those off as quick as possible. And I have just checked that one is supposed to be there. So if I get those off, and then I'm just going to dampen my finger to pick these up. I could try and just scoop them off the edge of my canvas, but I have visions of the way today is. I'm just going to end up making more mess than is necessary. Okay, 939. So there is a big strip of 939. This section here, which is the reason I did 3 one day, so much 939, like most of it was 939. It was probably one of the quickest sections I've done in a while because there was so much of one colour in one place. But when I do have a lot of 939, because the symbol is a solid square block, I often start with it. And then I go back and do it in DMC order, but I'll start with the 939 because if they're scattered all over the place, it can be really hard to tell if it's blocked out that much because it's a colour you've done, or blocked out that much because it's a colour when it's a colour you haven't done. So yeah, you may find on some sections upcoming that I actually start with 939, even though I then go back to doing it in order. I don't want 966. Oh, a little pale green one up here. Little bit of a tree colour. Just check, oh no, that was further down. See if we have any more of these. See, we just have the odd one thrown in there just to make me get out another pot. Looks like there's just a little bit of remnants of blossom up the top here. And then of course we're starting on another fairy down here, so there's loads of bits down here as well. And it's when it gets to something like this that I've just got one here and I can see one on the next row, and I'm so tempted to do it because it'll stop me getting this pot out again. But if I do it, it just mucks me up no end when it comes to the next row, and I just can't handle it telling me I've done 601 stitches. It's just not right. Janita's also said, she says she subscribed to my other channel. Thank you, Janita, which the link is in the description below if you do like to look at, you know, unboxings and things like that. Primarily is on my other channel. She also says that sometimes they get a very deep snow, sometimes waist deep, she says, and it's not fun. I can imagine. I mean, Canada is a lot better at dealing with snow, like the removal of snow on roads and all that sort of stuff. So much better than the UK. Primarily because they get it every year. In the UK, we don't get it every year. Or if we do get snow, it's not like waist deep, like ever. I don't think it's ever been waist deep. It is just annoying because it just gets slippy and becomes icy. You know, it's the gritters that we tend to have a lot to try and get rid of the frost and the ice more than anything else. But yeah, I couldn't imagine having to like shovel, get my words out, shovel myself out of my own house each day. I just couldn't imagine it. Just be a job I would not want to do. Amanda, she says, hey Rebecca, she says, gorgeous painting. Thank you, it's getting there. She says, thanks so much for all these videos to keep her company while she does her diamond painting. She said she has one big one. Sorry, I'm just getting that to stay down. She says she has one big one. That's her first big project, and 4 small ones, so that she has a variety. She says right now she is working on her very first square. Awesome. Challenges all the way. With a big one, I mean, even with your small ones, especially if one of them is your first square, it takes a little bit of getting used to squares rather than rounds, especially if you've done rounds for a long time. It's like many people said when we discussed multi-places and stuff, that, you know, if you wait too long and you just get used to single placing, it can then be very hard to multi-place. So I've single placed for 5 years. Trying to multi-place is more of a challenge for me because I've got very quick at doing it single placing. And I'm guessing it's the same sort of thing with squares. I did start squares very early on. I think like my second one may have been a square. So yeah, I started doing squares very early on, and therefore sort of learnt it alongside the whole process, and therefore I find squares not much different to rounds. I can do rounds quicker, but there's less diamonds per centimetre, so it's bound to happen. But I find that my precision for squares has got pretty good because of the fact that I've been doing them forever. or 5 years anyway. Well, that's another good chunk done. Speeding our way through this case of diamonds. Though we do sneak in just one little pink one from the bottom. Let's get that one in. And then I can move on to my last box of diamonds, or last case of diamonds. This is where there's probably going to be a few bitty bits to do. Brianna says she is currently working on a Harry Potter and the Sorcerer stone kit. They're about halfway through the painting, but unfortunately they are missing a colour. Oh dear, that's not good. That is not what you want, that's for sure. I've just noticed I've got two different colours, two very distinct different colours in this set. So I'm trying to pick just the one colour and hoping it's the right one. It's the one that I've got mainly at the bottom of the pot, so I'm going with that. I've got those two already. Sometimes I do find I use a different colour per section, but I've not found that it's been an issue on this one, probably because it's so many colours. And that is part of the reason I chose so many colours, was so that colour variance wouldn't be as much of an issue between them. But it is an issue on my other one. Kim, she says she is brand new at this craft, and she did purchase a couple of paint gem kits to learn the ropes. She said she purchased both the flower and the fruit kits. Get that one to stay. It's this top row. She said she kitted up the flower kit, she said, and yes, static. You do tend to get quite a bit of static with them. That's probably the only downfall. Though because they're the better diamonds, that's also why you get the static. Though not every company with good diamonds you get static. So that's the only drawback to the paint gem kits, is the static. And I kind of get excited when I have a kit that doesn't give me much issues with static. It's like a rare treat when it does it. She says she used the dryer sheets cut into small squares, and even though she did this, she said the static nearly tipped her over the edge. You should have seen my June Waffle kitting up last year. The static very nearly tipped me over the edge. I actually kitted up 3 paint gem mini kits for that one, for June Waffle 2022. I think my kitting up video was one of the longest kitting up videos I've had, because it took that long to get through them, and I actually filmed it in 2 sections because it was driving me up the wall. She said she persevered, and she did get the diamonds into their storage boxes. Good, you tell those diamonds where they need to go. She said, and she started working on a flower. She said it was fun. She certainly hopes she will become as addicted to this craft as I am. It's not hard. It's really not hard to get that addicted. She says because she already has 4 Diamond Art Club kits in her stash. And she's constantly looking for more. Sounds like the addiction starting. She says she's thoroughly enjoyed watching my videos and my waffling is entertaining. Thank you. She says thanks for the tips, tricks and conversations. She says it takes a brave or crazy woman to attempt such a big heaven and earth design project. Crazy's the way I'd go. She says, where are you going to place this after it's completed? So the thought is that we may place it at the top of our stairs, It's not yet established as a definite. I sort of need to get somebody to hold it up there and check, you know, that I like it and happy with it all. But that is probably the only wall in our house that may take it. The reason being is sort of the hallway, the top of the landing has a standard ceiling height for the UK, which isn't really high. Not in, you know, post-war built houses. So yeah, it isn't like hugely high, but that is the longest wall in our house because it is also where you take the first step towards coming downstairs. So the ceiling's the same height. It's not yet getting to the point of sloping down. So yeah, we will see if that ends up working out. This is where, okay, so these last few colours is a mixture of either oranges or browns. So we have a couple of oranges there, and then some peachy, more of a peachy colour. Elaine says, hi Rebecca. She says, sorry, it cut me off. She says, hi Rebecca. She says, you have a great community. That I do. They're the reason I keep doing this, for sure. Yeah, it's what makes it all enjoyable. She says she wants to thank Jenna for the diamonds that she sent her for her Heaven and Earth design. She says after a long break she can continue with that. So you may have noticed in both the Facebook group, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned it on here, though I'm not sure how long ago it was. It is hard for A-Line to get a hold of diamonds for a Heaven and Earth design. So I do have a list from her. I did put it up in the Facebook group, and I know a few people were going to have a look. She's not on social media or anything to be able to ask herself. But I didn't have anybody apart from Jenna ask for her address details and stuff to pass any diamonds on. I can't remember what country it was now, but it's not like US or Canada. It would be sending abroad for anybody to be able to send her some. So if anybody is happy with paying international postage and can help, just let me know and I can send over the diamonds that she needs for her Heaven and Earth design. To be able to continue on with that. As far as I know, Jenna did give her quite a few, so that is hugely appreciated, Jenna, from both of us, so that she can get going with her Heaven and Earth design and ride the wave of wanting to do it. Because it's often when you want to do it that you don't have the likes of the diamonds to be able to do it. And then when you have all the diamonds, you do a load and then you burn out and end up taking a break because you want to rather than because you're forced to. It's very bitty where all these diamonds are going on this section. Must be a few different branches intertwining. Right, let me get those 3 marked off. Tammy says, can you please tell me where did you find different sizes of canvases? So my canvas, both of my canvases I've actually picked up from AliExpress. There are now more places that do them, but I picked up my canvases, well, nearly 3 years ago. And it was AliExpress that I got mine from. If the size of the canvas that you want is not listed, it would be a matter of messaging the seller. So I had to message the seller and I got a quote for this Heaven and Earth design canvas because of its length. and how long it was. There is only a certain width that they can do before it like won't fit in the machines or something, like they can't do. So if you're doing something that's really wide and long, more of a big rectangle or a huge square, you more than likely may need to join up 2 canvases, but they'll let you know. So yeah, I had to message for this one. For my mini Heaven and Earth design, I did message a different company. The quote they gave me was actually ridiculous. It was cheaper for me to buy one of their standard canvases and then cut it down than it was to get one that was closer to what I needed. So yeah, just have a look around on AliExpress. Also, if you are doing a Heaven and Earth design canvas, then, and you're on Facebook, there is a group where people are doing diamond paintings as Heaven and Earth design, and I'm sure they will, well, there's files in there to suggest how you ask the seller for a quote for a canvas, and there's also really helpful people there as well, that may be able to give you some ideas of some particular sellers to try, so you could try that. Brianne, she says, on the subject of names, she says her first name is one that her parents saw in the newspaper birth announcements while pregnant with her, and they loved it. Her middle name, Kayla, came from her mum's grandma. It was her nan's maiden name, and there were no males born to carry on the name. She said it's not something she's ever heard of either, so she is honoured to keep the name alive for a little bit longer. She says they used special names for their boys too, and she loves to hear stories behind names. She says what a fun topic it is. It's always nice to know little traditions and things that people do that might be the same or different to how you do it. It's like, oh, you know, they live in a completely different country and culture, but they do it the same way as me, or, oh, that's interesting how they do it different. It ends up being interesting either way. That's what I think anyway. Okay, so there is another section finished, which is good because my battery is flashing. Looks like quite a lot of brown on the next section, brown and black to keep me going. But you can see the beginning of another fairy. So anyway, I will speak to you next week and see where I've managed to get up to. But thank you all so much for joining me, and I'll speak to you all again soon.